everybody, Jeanette here, and Maya's my little helper today, and we're going to be picking mint to put in the dehydrator. Maya's going to hold my bag for me so I can pick it faster and easier. What we have is a really nice patch of apple mint. Apple mint is a fuzzy spearmint that's unusual because of its fuzzy leaves. I'll be picking the smaller new growth leaves, and Maya's going to hold my bag open for me so I can catch them real quick. It's best to pick the mint in the morning because that's when the oils are in the leaves. During the day when it gets hotter, the oils go down. Part of the reason I'm picking the smaller leaf is because the stems on the bigger leaves are really big and thick, and they don't dry out very well in the dehydrator. The smaller new growth leaves will. Okay, Maya, I think we have enough. We have a lot of mint in there, and so now it's time to go get it into the dehydrator.
It's heavy.
Thanks for your help, sweet girl.
Thanks. You're welcome.
I'll talk briefly about dehydrators. I have a cabinet dehydrator that I was able to buy. It was fairly expensive, and I know that, and not everybody can get that right away. But I believe that if you are serious about dehydrating your food, saving up for a high-quality cabinet model dehydrator is the way to go. The stackable ones where you just have trays that stack on top of each other, most of them, if not all of them, have no fan in them. And a fan is very important to get your food evenly dried because it needs air circulation in there. And you can actually, on very moist things, you can create mold in there instead of getting things dry. What I have is a Cabela's. I know that it's very similar to an Excalibur, and it has, it's like kind of like a microwave where you open the door. It has multiple shelves in here. Here's one right here, and then all these in here. It has a fan, it has a temperature setting, it has a timer, and it actually has a light too, but my light doesn't work anymore, so it's not too important. So let's get the mint loaded up. This kind of mint grows up in the air and this never touched the ground, and so I choose not to wash the mint. If it looks dirty to you, you are free to wash your mint, but I just choose not to. Because I chose to just use the tips of the plants, I'm going to leave the leaves on the stems to dry, and then later I'll take the leaves off of the stems after they dry. Now I'm not going to be careful about placing this in here. I'm just going to scatter it around, hopefully in a single layer. The leaves will dry out pretty quick, but the stems will take a little bit more time to dry. Since these leaves don't lie flat very well, what I'm going to do is put another tray on top of that for filling it. I'll put this on here, and then I'll show you how I get it into the dehydrator. When I have two shelves loaded, I'm going to lift it up and set the bottom shelf on the bottom rack there. Then I'm going to skip one and go up to the next rack, and I could slide that right in without having to slide in two separate ones. This one came out at a little bit of an angle, but I'm not going to take that back out of there after I got it in. Okay, I got them all in there. I think they're going to be good. I separated out big stems and any leaves that didn't look good. We don't need that in there. I'll shut the door and get things set. First I'm going to set the time, And I'm going to set it for 10 hours. Then I'll set the temperature, and I'm setting it for 125 degrees. It's about to start. In 10 hours, I'll look it over and see what I think, see if there are any stems that need a little more dry. The stems aren't as important because I'm taking the stems away anyway, as I'll show you whenever I take the leaves off of the stems and ready to store it. Well, the mint has finished drying. It's actually the next day. I let it run the 10 hours and then went to bed without doing anything with it. The next morning, this morning, I ran it for another couple hours just to take any kind of moisture out that it might have accumulated in there overnight. And now it's all dried and ready to be finished up. The leaves are quite dry, the stems are dry, and all I need to do is collect it and put it into a bowl. As I put it into the bowl, I'm going to go ahead and take the stems off, just flake the leaves off. It's real easy. I'm not going to add the stems to my tea. This will just take a few minutes to do this, but I think it'll make better tea. Well, out of that half a bag of mint, I came out with a pretty good bowl of dried mint ready to make tea. So I'm going to show you how I like to make this into tea that is very tasty. Now we're in the kitchen and we're ready to start the process of making the iced tea. I have some hot water here, and let me show you what I'm going to make my tea in. Well, I came up with this French press coffee maker at a garage sale recently, and I thought, yeah, it makes really good handy thing to make some iced tea in. So that's what I'm going to use today for my mint tea. I'm going to pour this hot tea over ice after I get it steeped, so I want to make it fairly concentrated. First I'm going to put a half a cup of my crushed tea leaves. I'll take my hot water, carefully pour that over. And then I'll set the strainer in there just on top. This will hold the heat in, and I'm going to let this steep for probably 10 to 15 minutes. Kind of the longer you let it steep, the better it tastes, more flavor comes out. I might move it around a little bit a few times just to make sure all of the leaves are exposed to the hot water, and then we'll go to the next step. After you feel like your tea has steeped long enough, just slowly push this plunger down. It pushes all the leaves to the bottom and strains the tea very nicely. Now I want to sweeten my tea a little bit. You can certainly drink it unsweetened, but I feel like a little bit of sugar, not a lot of sugar, but a little bit enhances the flavor of the mint. So I'm going to add a little bit of sugar to that and pour my hot tea into my little pitcher. I'll use a chopstick to stir that. And I have ice here ready to pour into it. That should cool it down nicely. I've put my dried tea into a jar, and that'll keep, I like to store things in glass as often as I can, and that'll give me enough tea for probably all winter long. We'll pour our cool tea over some more ice in a glass and enjoy. Cheers. That's a great summer drink. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you next time.